Good morning, could be good
Good
afternoon,
morning.
could be good evening actually, because people might be watching this not live, they might be watching on catch up. My name's Ian. I nearly said my name's Ali, and it just isn't. That's Ali there. My name's Ian, and this is Ali.
Hi, guys.
And we are going to give you a session today on the kind of differences between business coaching, business advisory, business support, where it all sits, where we can help you. Talk through some of the sessions, what a session might look like, how long it might last, what you can get out of it, what you can't get out of it, and you know, it is ask some questions if you are live. That would be great, because we're going through Facebook and YouTube, and I'm just checking to see whether that's all working. If it is, let me know. If our Jenny is there, Jenny might just say hello in the comments, and then that'll let us know that you're live. So, Ali,
Ian.
you put together a marvelous PowerPoint for us.
I have.
It's beautifully done. I think what we could do is share the screen so people can see from their end, and we just talk through kind of slide by slide. And if there is any comments, that would be fantastic if we could get any questions upon the particular topics you're going through. And we could do that. It's probably worth just giving a little intro, Ali, to ourselves. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, before we do that, have you got the slides, Ian, or do I do the slides?
I've got them. You know what we could do? We could do like a Boris-style session on COVID, where you go, next slide, please.
Okay, well, I'll say that to you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
After all the money they spent, they haven't even got a clicker down in Westminster. It's ridiculous. There's Jenny there saying hi, so great. She's
Hi,
here.
Jenny.
So yeah, if you give a little bit of background to yourself, Ali.
Okay, folks. So great to be here today. Really excited about working with you all on the project. Ian and I have done this kind of thing collaboratively before, so we kind of know where each other's experience lies. Today, what we really want to do is just share with you what you can expect if you come and have a session with us, or what the program's about. And hopefully we can kind of alleviate any early questions you have, or any worries you might have in terms of what to actually expect. So before we do that, just to give you a little bit of background. So the reason I'm here, I guess, today to help you out is my background is very varied, but in the main, it's been about helping people like yourselves start up in business, helping entrepreneurs establish ideas, pull business plans together, and when companies are kind of up and off the ground, helping them to grow. So I've got lots of experience from both sides. So I've managed programs like this to help teach the entrepreneurship of things, but also, like Ian, I've got my own business now. So I'm the director of ThinkD, which is a coaching and mentoring company, and I work alongside Ian, who does a similar kind of thing. But in a previous life, I've had a couple of different businesses, one probably which Ian doesn't know about, which is that I once had a golf simulator company, which was fantastic. And so we had a bit of kit, which was a bit of software that we took all over the world and got to see some really cool places. That was a real fun business, but it made quite a lot of money, but actually it didn't last for very long. So I learned some good lessons there. I've also had a training company, and did some training in entrepreneurship and sold my services to local authorities and schools and different people like that, different organisations like the university. So I've also done that. So two completely different kind of businesses there. I've also been a freelancer, which means I just offer me up to people who need to fill a gap. And in all of those different companies that I've worked in, they've been very diverse, but essentially the messages are the same and the processes are the same. So every time you do something new, you kind of quite often fail or trip up and then learn some new things from it. And then you don't do that the next time. So hopefully in this program, that's the kind of thing that I'm going to bring to the table by offering my experience, my advice, but more importantly, just, you know, helping you explore your options, because Ian and I don't have all the answers. It's about trying to help you explore your own thoughts and processes as well. Will that do for you, Ian?
That was good, and I didn't know you had a golf simulator. I really didn't know that, actually.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. And you didn't tell them about your surfing simulator you've got in the back garden either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's too wet for that today.
It's funny because you said they're two completely different, and I thought you were going to say two completely different people, because we are. And I think that's why we work well together. My background, I was a commercial director for about 10 or 12 years in a software company. And through that time, I grew a company from, an owner-managed business, family-owned business, up to acquisition within those 10 years. So we did a management buyout as well. And along that journey, I took us international. So I've done some work in the Middle East, Far East, in the States. So I've got experience of internationalizing companies, growing companies, scaling them, and all the messy bits in between that, because it's not a walk in the park. But now we're having fun now because we get to do stuff like this. So my company, Far North, is here to help other people grow through sales, through marketing, through social media. I do a lot of content creation, such as this. We love to go live. We've got a podcast. We do live seminars, conferences. I'm a keynote speaker. So we'll be doing lots of events when we're allowed over the next few years. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I think we're going to dive into your slides, Ali, if that's okay.
Okay. Have we got anyone live today, Ian? Do we know?
Of course we have. If you have a look at the comments on the right-hand side, we've got Sea Spray, morning. We've got Fashion History, morning. Jenny is there as well. All watching through YouTube, actually, so we can see the little icon. Not many through Facebook, mainly through YouTube.
Okay, cool.
So, and I hope this format is good for you all, because we want to have that interaction. We want to have the comments. It really helps us. If not, it's a bit of a stale presentation. So interaction, questions, throw them in the comments. It'd be great for us. Gives us a break as well. Facebook user, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Facebook user.
I wonder who that is. Tell me who it is.
It's not me, Ian.
It's not you, because you are not very good at Facebook and tech.
Hi, Arthur and Kate.
Good stuff. There you go. There's Bernie. Hi, Bernie.
Not just us.
Yeah, and it's good because what happens, Ali, is we'll meet some of the team here across the various different coaching services that we offer. So things like social media. Hi, Celia. Social media, the business coaching, the business advisory service, they all kind of will interlink. That's what we want. We want to have everybody, want to have all these different facets all kind of collaborating. So there's no stop. They all link with each other. And I think that's why the benefit of us doing this today is that we can meet people such as Liz there and interact. So that's great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if this works. Let me bring this in. There you go. How cool is that, Ali?
Fab, cool.
Can't see our wrinkles, can you? No, from this distance.
No, yeah, put us way in the background. I like that. Okay, so while I'm chatting, Ian, do you want to just, if anyone interjects, guys, feel free to just stop us and pause if there's anything you don't understand. We're here for the next 50 minutes or so anyway, so don't worry, there'll be plenty of time to chat. But I've got the comments open, but while I've got a tendency to just waffle on. So Ian, if you see anything, just ping it in and just stop me there.
So are you saying that you can't talk, can't look at slides and can't look at the comments at the same time?
I can't multitask.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's go. Right, so what we want to do today really was, some of you might have already experienced some of the sessions with Ian. If that's you, great. If you haven't, and this is new, hopefully this will alleviate some of the expectations that you have or may not have. So what we want to do today is, 10-minute little presentation, nothing too onerous, just to tell you what we think the business advisory sessions look like, and also what we think the coaching sessions look like and what you can expect to get out from both. One thing I will say is that Ian and I do work really closely, so invariably these things will overlap, and I wouldn't worry too much about that, because the main aim of all of this really is just to help guide you on your path to becoming a business owner, to becoming an entrepreneur, or whatever it is your ideas are about. So what can we expect from the advisory sessions? really, for those of you who've got ideas, fantastic. And that, we're here to help you validate the feasibility of your ideas, because quite often, we have a great idea when we're, having a glass of wine with our mates. And then, the next day we still think it's a great idea, but, our friends and family think it's a bit crazy or a bit dumb. And, what we're here for is to be that impartial person, just to say, have you thought about this? Do you think that might work? Have you validated your market and that kind of thing? So we're here we're not here to crush your dreams. That's the first thing. We're here to get on the dream catch with you, but we are here to be that kind of, word of caution, almost sitting on your shoulder going, hang on a minute, don't jump in there if that's not going to work for you. The end of the day, we want you to succeed. We don't want you to fail. So we will help you with your idea validation. If you haven't got ideas, but you just absolutely know you want to be a business owner, we can help you explore your ideas. And quite often your initial idea ends up being something completely different anyway, depending on the path you go down. So we're here for that part of it. We're also here to give information, if you like. So we've got a whole wealth of information in our heads, but we've also got a whole massive network between Ian and I, where we can pull on different regional information, national information that you might find useful for your business. Even something as simple as opening a bank account. It might be just finding out who the Barclays business manager is or whatever. And as well as the information, we've also got some handy tools to help you along the way, and I'll tell you about those shortly. But essentially, we're here to try and help you increase your knowledge and to build your own business acumen. So the main takeaway from that is, don't sit there thinking, I've never done this before, I can't do it. Whatever your barrier to enterprise is, we're here to help you alleviate that. Hi, David. You see, I can multitask. So what else? We want to help navigate the business plan. Business plans, if you've never written one before, sound like a really dull, horrible thing that you have to write. They are, I won't lie to you. It can be quite tedious, but it's also quite essential for you, first and foremost, but also for anybody where you're, say, for example, you're asking someone to invest into your business. That would come in really handy if you had a business plan outlining what your vision is, what your profit projections are, and so on and so forth. But really, the business plan is for you. And the business plan doesn't stand still either. And we'll come on to that shortly. And I mentioned earlier our connections. We've got a wealth of connections. The guys at Enterprise Place have got a wealth of connections as well. So between us all, we can help signpost you to other support just to help get your business off the ground. Next slide, please, Ian.
I think that's really good. And actually just touching upon that network, sometimes we might be offer some advice and coaching, but actually, even if we just signpost to somebody else within our network, and they might be able to have a coffee, and they might have been through that particular journey as well. So we can certainly do that. Introductions, can't we?
Definitely, most definitely. Okay, cool. I mentioned the business plan. Why did I mention that? Ultimately, the business advisory sessions are going to help guide you through the completion of a business plan. Again, you may have started this already. If you have, great. If you haven't, that's okay too. So we will work with you whichever point you come in at. So, there is no prerequisite almost. You just come in, we have a chat, and we take it from there. So again, why do we need the business plan? Well, it is the written document, and it helps describe your business. So what does it actually do? It can clarify your idea, okay, just like I mentioned there earlier. It can spot potential problems. That's quite a negative word, but I prefer to use the word gaps. So what it can do is outline, for example, you might have a fantastic business idea, but you might be missing a bit of knowledge to actually get your product produced or get your idea to market. So it helps spot gaps that we can hopefully talk you through and talk around strategies to fill those gaps. It also sets out your goals and your actions associated with those goals and what needs to happen when in the process. And more importantly, it can measure your progress as well. So I mentioned there earlier that the business plan isn't a one-off document that you create and then put on the shelf. It is a dynamic process. It will be iterated over and over and over again. And when you write one today, it will look somewhat different to what it will look like in 6 months' time. And you use that how you need to. Ian's nodding along there, and I think that's an important message. That iteration it is something that, quite often business plans are scribbled all over all of the time. There will be a point where your bank manager says, right, if you want that overdraft, I need to see your business plan. So at that point in time, we work with the information we've got. But the idea is to try and capture everything that's in your thoughts and your head and put it into one framework so that you've got it there and it's a useful document to have. Okay, next slide, please, Ian.
I'm laughing, Ali, because we do the business model canvas and value prop canvas, and I'm a big fan of not having a business plan, which sounds scary, because you're right. Sometimes can take an awful long amount of time and a lot of words, and then it just sits in your bottom drawer and you don't really refer to it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to help that plan be very flexible but succinct as well. We don't want you sitting there for days and days writing a plan that's not going to actually have any value. So
no, and Ian mentioned the business model canvas, and it's if you haven't come across that, it's a brilliant tool. It's on one page and it captures all of the relevant, useful information in one place. And we're both big fans of that, so we will introduce you to that along the way as well. Okay, so just that's for your clarity. That's the kind of thing we'd expect to see in a business plan, your vision, your objectives. Before that, actually, and quite often it's overlooked, is we'd expect to see a little bit of personal information in there about you, because especially when you're at the very start, if you're taking your business plan to a potential investor or a bank or someone where you're kind of trying to sell your case, they want to know about you. And if you've ever watched Dragon's Den, as corny as it sounds, they're also interested in the person behind, because you might have the most brilliant idea and business plan, but if you haven't got the energy and the kind of drive to succeed, then it might fall flat. So I think there's a little bit of information about yourself needs to go in there too. It does talk about strategies. It talks about sales and marketing, which Ian will give you loads of advice on. And more importantly, financial forecasts, again, which are often overlooked. So when I work with people, I've got a few clients on the go currently. Some of them hate doing finance and they just kind of push it to one side. So I do a lot of work with people on cash flow forecasting. And more importantly, it's easy to go, oh yeah, we could get like £100 for that product and we could sell 50 of them and so on. But actually, doing the research and trying to validate that market is really important, and that feeds quite directly into your cash flow. So I'll help you with that kind of thing too.
That's a really important point, Alan. And if you remember, we did the residential course, Boost Your Business, 2 or 3 day course in the Northeast, which was an enterprise qualification and a digital qualification. And lots of new business owners we would come across, had a real passion for a certain business. But actually, when they delved into the financial side of it, what they found out was that with the cost of materials sometime and the cost of the time to produce a product, sometimes we're working for not even £1 an hour. Yeah. So it's about validating those numbers as well, Ali, isn't it?
It is, absolutely it is, yeah. And putting the value on you, more importantly, and making sure your salary is reflected in those costs, yeah.
Really good point. Thanks, Ali.
Cool. Okay, so what kind of practical things will we cover in the sessions? Well, the long and short of it is we'll cover whatever you need to cover. We're not counsellors. We're not here to hear about everybody's moans, although we will listen to them if they're relevant to this kind of work. We're not.
You might listen to our moans, though.
Yeah, nobody listens to my moans. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to provide some information and help guide you as to what you think you ought to do. So, we're not going to sit over your shoulder and make you write word for word a business plan, for example. What we are going to do is just go through some things. And these are the kind of things that I thought Ian said, put some things on paper. And these are the kind of things that sprung to mind that might be quite practical for you to use. And one of the biggest things is people get in a bit of a stew over this. When you decide to have a business, you go, right, I'm going to have a business. Okay, what next? And everybody panics and thinks they need a limited company and have to set that up and what have you. So, and you don't. And the answer to that is you don't need a limited company always. So what we'll do is we'll show you the various options of different types of business. We'll talk about the various structures and what the implications are on you. For example, I know one client I have who earns about £1 million a year, has not got a limited company. He's a sole trader, has been for the last 30 years, and it's worked perfectly well for him. So we can kind of guide you through the pros and cons of all the different types to see what the best fit is for you. Things like opening a bank account sound silly, but where are the best places to go? Who's going to charge you bigger fees? I'm sure the university and the guys at Enterprise Place have got links to that kind of thing as well, but we can help you with that and the practicalities of opening the bank account. Obtaining insurance, again, quite often overlooked. You may or may not know, do you need employers insurance? Well, actually, if you only employ yourself, you don't. But if you employ 2 people, then you do. So it's just looking through all of the tips and hints around the things to look for when you get your insurance. What's a good price, for example, for public liability and that kind of thing.
I think, Ali, if I can just jump in there, what's really interesting sometimes on tenders or public sector work or anything, they're going to have a requirement, aren't there, for certain insurance levels. So, advice around what you might need to do certain bits of work.
That's right, one to watch, yeah. So, again, sounds silly, but sourcing and printing business cards, some people just go to Vistaprint, other people want something a bit more dynamic and want something bespoke. So, and for a business card, you can pay anything from like £1 up to like £100 just to get a design. So it's about just guiding you through that process. Website development, Ian can give you lots of information on this. He actually does that for clients, for example. But again, that might be something you want to do yourself. You might want to outsource it to an organisation or whatever. It's just about looking at what the options are, what you need to be. Do you even need a website? Will a Facebook page suffice? So talking through all those different marketing channels and options and seeing what's available there. I put the finding the business premises on there, a bit strange in these times because a lot of people are moving to the Home Office currently. But again, we've got a network of local authorities who have got brilliant business space. Ian's got a fantastic office over in South Shields. You've got all those lovely offices at the university. So if you do need an office or if you do need a manufacturing facility, we can signpost you to people who can help with that as well. So they're the practical things. But on the flip side, on the next slide, Ian.
Yeah, I'm just going to touch upon that, Ali. Obviously, the Enterprise Place has a huge network as well.
Yeah.
We'll be encouraging collaboration across these sessions as well. So things like websites, designing logos, that sort of thing. There'll be your colleagues within the Enterprise Place or people we'll know within university that can help. It can be suppliers. You could maybe barter and help each other with certain products and services. So, let's try and keep everything within the network and help one another.
Sure. So they're the practical things. These are some of the strategic things we might help you with. And again, this list isn't exhaustive. That's the main thing to point out here. This is just things that we probably get asked regularly that I thought might be useful for you to understand. Big one, identifying markets and targeting customers. So Ian and I both have got external marketing experience from different guises. I do a lot of strategic marketing planning. Ian does a lot of that as well, but he also does a lot of digital marketing and interaction. So we'll help you identify where your markets are, who your customers are. Do you even know? Do you need some help with that and that kind of thing? And on the back of that, building another plan, marketing plan. And again, not one that will sit on the shelf, hopefully, one that will be useful for you to look at what actions you need to do when, whether you need to do them all yourself, whether you can bring folk in to help you and that kind of thing. So just looking at everything around that kind of marketing element of the plan. Developing the cash flow forecast, I've mentioned that already. I've got a great template. I'm sure Enterprise Place have got templates for you as well. And quite often it's a scary thing if you've never done one before, but actually if we can sit with you and just show you how easy it is, then you can start and manipulate the figures. Then you can see the real potential of what your idea could be worth. And then we can play around with those numbers there. Sales is the flip side of the marketing, and Ian and I can help you look at your sales pipeline. And quite often, and I know I certainly do this, Ian probably does this, and I'm sure some of your colleagues do. If we're busy, if we've got a busy few weeks and we sit here thinking that's fantastic, don't need to do any sales, we sometimes forget that 3 months' time, we might have no work at all. So as a self-employed person, as a freelancer, you've got to keep one eye on that next part of the future. So you might be busy now, but in 6 months' time, you might have nothing. So are you planning currently to look at what your pipeline looks like for the rest of the year? So that kind of practical advice. Prospecting, building relationships, very much Ian's bag. He's great at that, and hopefully I can chip in there too. And the last bit I put on there is for anybody who's coming to this program with a product or some product development, we can also help you access funding for capital, sometimes for revenue. But more importantly, if you have got an innovative solution to help you build the case and build the business model canvas to look to find investors for those kind of solutions. You want to add anything there, Ian?
My interest in this is maybe a bit self-indulgently for me, because I love the lead gen bit. I love getting the leads, converting the pipeline, looking at how long it takes to actually obtain a client, sales duration, even things about how you can help them convert, email templates, what looks like a good email, how you communicate with your prospects, how you can get across the line, how you can nurture them. So we're doing a lot of that stuff. We've got decades of experience in there, unfortunately. Because wouldn't it be great if clients just came to you, but actually you've got to go and get them, right? You've got to go and nurture them. So yeah,
we've got to be a bit cheeky, haven't you, sometimes as well, and not be afraid to ask. Yeah,
it's a really good point as well. I mean, what I spend a lot of time with clients, and some of them. An example I often give is, engineers, manufacturers, software developers. What they want to do is that. Mm-hmm. They want to develop software. They want to write code. Yeah. They don't want to go out and generate pipelines and leads. That's where we can help them with that.
Cool. Excellent. So that's kind of wraps up what we think you can expect from the business advisory sessions, if you've not had any already. I know some of you might be booked in, and if you are, great, and I look forward to meeting you all. But on the flip side, we're also running some coaching sessions too. So this is really try and give you a bit of information on what the differences look like. So if you remember what I said about advisory is, we're going to give you some tools, techniques, a bit of our impartial advice, some guidance and that kind of thing, some networks. Coaching's a bit different. This is really about us trying to empower you. So this is about us saying, how can we be the sounding board, if you like, for you to come and tell us what the issues or the barriers are, and then we kind of reflect that back as if you're looking in a mirror, and we reflect that back on you and say, okay, what do you think the solutions might be? So, and quite often in a coaching situation, you guys will have the answers yourself. You might not, and you might need a little bit of chivying along, which we can help with. We'll kick into mentoring, which is more about giving you a little bit of advice. But essentially, the coaching is to try and help you to develop your skills and knowledge to make better decisions for your business. So we'll guide you through overcoming barriers, and quite often businesses fail because of the barriers to enterprise, not necessarily because the idea is not good, because of your own personal barriers or financial access barriers or whatever it might be. So the coaching sessions will help you come up with strategies to overcome those barriers, so we can get those out early so you can carry on with your business plans. We want to help you develop your own leadership skills, and again, this is something that will come over time. We recognise that some of you work already and might already be in management and leadership roles, and that's fantastic. So, we try and help you convert those into what that would look like for your business, for example. More importantly, in the coaching sessions, we're going to, build on the business planning element and help you set goals and develop action plans. So a typical session, might look like you coming along with an issue, and we kind of help you talk through solutions. But a really important part, and I wanted to mention this today, is really coaching and mentoring is also about self-reflection. I mentioned that mirror thing there. So if you say something, we might just say it back to you so you can hear it, as if you're hearing it for the first time. And it's designed to help you improve your own thinking, so you can have some positive critical thinking approaches to look at your problems when we're not around, or whether your other mentors are not around, and so on. So that's really important, that self-reflection piece, and we'll talk to you more about that as we go along the sessions. Okay. Ian.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting what you said there. You touched upon mentorship, and I think that's really important as well. Having a critical friend, someone to sit on the fence, someone to give you the side of the point of view, someone to want to challenge you, maybe, because it's a lonely journey, isn't it? Solopreneur, entrepreneur, micro business, top of the tree, whatever. It can be a very lonely journey. So it's just being able to have, and it often turns into a bit of a therapy session sometimes, isn't it? When you're with a mentor and you just you're venting, because it's really emotive. This is your baby. You go all in. You're very passionate about your businesses. I've met a few of you already, and you really are all in. And quite a lot of you have sacrificed a lot of stuff to get here. So we really want to help you take that forward.
Brilliant. Sorry, I've just seen Fashion History there is talking about looking at insurance, marketing, funding, website development. We're definitely going to cover all of that. Sorry, I don't know your name, Fashion History.
It's Liz.
Liz, yeah, got that.
There you go, look, I'll show you there. It's Liz. And our company's Luxel.
Excellent. But yeah, we will go through all of that.
Insurance, marketing, funding, web dev, we can talk all of those good things. Thanks, Liz.
Okay, so just to finish off on the coaching then. So in the sessions, we will a typical session would be you coming along, and you might have 6 problems, but we can't tackle 6 in one go. If we have an hour, we can't go at 6. So what we'll probably say is, right, which one's your priority this week? What is it you want to do? And it's about trying to do one thing well rather than trying to do 10 things and do them all badly. So we'll help you go, instead of going broad, we'll help you to go deep. Because quite often our heads are full of all sorts, especially at this startup phase where everything's just exciting and you want it all done yesterday and, yada, yada. So what we really need to do is just go, right, stop, pause. Let's use this session to breathe and look at one thing at a time. So we'll use lots of questions. We'll be the people who ask you that questions, right? And I'm never afraid to say that, because I've always done that since I was really little. Ask the daft questions. I tell my kids all the time, just keep asking questions, and then you'll get, the answer will lead to another question. So that's really what this coaching and mentoring model is about, to ask questions so that you can ask yourself almost, and then we can dig deep a little bit. And then what we do then is we come up with a range of different options to see what the potential solutions are. Yeah. And then if we've got 5 solutions, then we look at which one's the best for you, and so on. So the whole process is designed to try and develop and implement strategies to help you change things up, to move on, to improve. And providing you're going in a direction, it doesn't really matter what direction you're going in, as long as you're moving forward and you can feel the progress linked to your business idea. And again, the last point there, I mentioned the self-reflection. So we're going to encourage you to reflect on your own development. And this is going to help you build your own emotional intelligence, okay? And I'm sure all of you have got lots of that anyway, but the more we almost practice it, the better it becomes and the more savvy we get at doing this kind of stuff. Okay.
Any tools you want to mention on that, Ali, in terms of coaching, and any templates or?
Yeah, so I personally use something called the GROW model, which is very much designed around just a bit like what I've said there about getting the problem out on the table, almost defining the problem first, because quite often the problem you come in with might not be the actual problem. So it's trying to really deep root what the issue is, and then we can get that out on the table. And once we have that, we can look at the options, which is part of the GROW model, to come up with the right solution. But again, the coaching session. So if you have a session with Ian or I, and then you're coming back in 2 weeks' time, we'll hold you to account, because we'll say, what happened in the last 2 weeks, guys, and where you said you were going to do that. Did you do it? We're not here to beat you up if you didn't, but we'd ask why. Did you have the right support? Were you able to do it? And it's just exploring all of those kind of things around that. But I think, holding you accountable is a good thing, because as Ian mentioned, it's a very lonely place working on your own, especially now where people are working at home a lot. So having that cup of coffee and sounding board, just for someone to challenge you a little bit, drag you along, and that's what we'll do. But we're doing it anyway, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know the team at the Enterprise Place are dying to get people back into the building and hot desking and working together. So hopefully we'll be there soon.
Cool. Okay, so just to sum up, in terms of what you can expect from all of the interactions, and not just the coaching and business advisory, but the other, Ian's doing some social media interactions, and we've got some other bits and bobs there. So what you can expect from us, and this goes for both of us, I think, is a friendly, informal approach. Hopefully you've got a feel for that. More importantly, confidential discussions. You know, when we talk one-to-one, that stays there unless you expressly tell us otherwise in terms of bringing other folk into the room. One thing we haven't talked about, and certainly we'll talk to Jenny at Enterprise Place about this, is you know, if you have got a potential innovative solution where there are patents involved or any trademarks, you know, we will maybe look at that non-disclosure agreements. We haven't gone there yet, but certainly we will protect your confidence and ideas at all times. We'll hopefully offer practical advice rather than and practical tools. So that, you know, after each session, hopefully you take away something new or something different. And we'll certainly be we're non-judgmental in our approach. And as I say, we're not here to tell you something's wrong or different. You know, we're here to just listen and offer our side of the bargain, and then you can decide what you want from there. Guidance and information hopefully will help you make different decisions. What you can get from Ian and I, we've got lots of expertise in both, certainly for me, both startup and growth, and I know the same for Ian as well. But you know what? We don't have all the answers. We never will. But what we do have is the ability to ask why and to question each other. And, you know, if I'm not sure about something, I can probably ring 5 people up and find out if they know, and so on. So it's about pulling on that network and having the confidence to do that. With that goes all the signposting. So certainly the university and ourselves, we're tapped into the wide support mechanism in this region. And again, for those of you who have worked or lived outside the region, you know, I'm really proud to say that our region in the Northeast is tight. It's close, it's tiny, and everybody knows everybody, which is a bit of a pain sometimes, but actually it's brilliant when you're offering advice and support, because we can always find someone who knows the answer to something. So Ian mentioned earlier connections to other organisations and businesses that can help. It might be, you know, to generate a sales lead. It might be to get a website fixed. It might be just have a cup of coffee and bounce some ideas around. It could be anything. We're more than happy to share and do that. And I'm a great believer in sharing, even if, you know, some people are a bit closed shop about ideas, but I always think if you share, you get more solutions. And I put fun on the end, because you know what, this shouldn't be laborious for you. It shouldn't be something that you feel like you have to do, like an assignment or a report. This process, you know, is your baby, as Ian said, and if you come into this thinking it's going to be difficult, well, it will be difficult, I'll tell you that for nothing, but hopefully you can inject a bit of fun in it and just remind yourself why you're doing it, just to keep it light and good and exciting, because otherwise you'll end up not doing it. So I think that kind of summarises what we would offer you. In return, what we'd expect is just some openness, some honesty, you know, a bit of mutual respect. And I think that works on both sides, Ian. But, you know, as far as we're concerned, we've probably seen it all before. If you come in and think, oh, we probably have, or between us we will have. And we've got some really funny, crazy stories of various things that we can share with you along the way, hopefully. And just let you know you're not in this alone, and we're in it together. It's a big community. So that's all I want to say, really, unless you want to add anything there, Ian.
I'll just knock that slide off. Great, thanks for taking us through that, Ali. Really good. What I want to add is that we really want a joined up approach on this, right the way across all the services that the Enterprise Place offer. We don't want to kind of have a fence between each one. We want to have a golden thread running right the way through what you need. So this is your time. This is your service. Use us as best you can. Reach out to the team, Jenny, Laura, Kelly. Reach out and just say, you know what it is? I would love if we could have an event on LinkedIn training, for instance. Great. We get involved and we can make that happen for you. So, you know, we want to be putting some really good events on. getting you together as well. I can't wait when we can get you together. But if getting together isn't a thing for you right now and you might have some anxieties as about coming in, that's fine. We can do this remotely. We've been running services and sessions like this remotely as well. So I think that's the one of the advantages we've took out of this pandemic is we're working a lot remotely now. It's quite accepted, and we've got all the tech. I mean, we're doing lovely tech like this today and going live with you. I think that's great as well because you can now watch on catch up as well. So utilize us as best you can and drive us, shape this whole service. We really want to hear, and that's why I keep throwing up that banner saying, drop it in the comments. We really want your, want you to kind of push us and pull us and coerce us and whatever you want. We're here for you. All ideas are welcome for everyone. Exactly, that's what we want. Ideas. Perfect.
No idea is a bad idea.
I am based in South Shields. Are you?
Oh.
Sandancer in the house, yes. And then Ali, you're just along the road, aren't you?
I am. I'm in Sunderland, not far from you guys. Yeah.
So very, very close. And we're just really looking forward to it, Ali. Really looking forward to getting our teeth into this.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. So that's been about what we got there, 40 minutes. That's been really great. Thanks, Ali, for doing that. Any questions? We're going to be here for the next couple of minutes. If not, we're going to shoot off. Good to hear. The sand dance in the house. Yeah, if we're going to be here for another minute or so. So if you've got anything, quickly pop that in. If not, we'll be looking forward to seeing you. We've been trying to be flexible, Ali, haven't we, with timings? So, we've been putting together some times this last week or so that it's not just a Wednesday between 9 and 11, because we know people's lives are very different. You might have a number of commitments. So, Ali, do you want to talk us a little bit about the flexibility that you put in place for your advisory sessions?
Yeah, sure. So we've given some slots to Jenny. So we've oh great, thanks Celia, that's fab. We've given some times to Jenny. So as Ian said, 1 week it might be a Wednesday, 1 week it might be a Tuesday. So those times are fixed now in my diary, in our diaries. We've chucked some evening sessions in there. So every month we've chucked like a late session for those of you who are maybe working or studying during the day and can't get to like 7 o'clock in the evening. That's absolutely fine. We're both self-employed, remember, so we don't have a 9 to 5 job. So we are quite flexible in what we can offer you. What I would say is if you are struggling with any of the sessions that Jenny offers you, just let her know, because she can just ping me a note. And, if you can't make one of the fixed sessions that we've offered, as I say, we've tried to be flexible, but please let us know, because we can flex that. This is about you, not about us.
Didn't you put a Sunday at 7 o'clock in the morning in as well, Ali?
No.
Yeah. I'd love to know this one. I'd love to know when we get a bit more structure back. And I think we've got to just go with government guidelines on this. Really, we want to bring you back in a really safe environment and make sure that it's all, adhering to all the guidelines and regulations. So I'm sure the Enterprise Place team will be pushing a communication out on that soon. But I think we're a bit up in the air, and just as you can see there,
I think one point to make there is, we can't wait to do face-to-face and meet you all. However, what I would say is this time last year when I thought, oh God, we have to go Zoom for everything, and as a coach who sits in a room and chats to folk, I really struggled with that for about 24 hours and then realised it was fine. And then, so just to give you an idea, so for the last 12 months, I've now got about 10 clients who I've never met yet at all. 3 of them I feel like I know intimately, and I really got a good understanding of their business. And, whilst we do want to get back face-to-face, what I would say is the Zoom sessions are really quite focused. So we're able to almost like, we cut the travel out, so we've got more time and more energy for you. We can really go straight into your issues, and we can really get some good productivity in there. So I've found that really useful for the mentoring sessions I've been delivering. I've been mentoring 2 guys from Madrid for the last 18 months who I've never met yet, and their businesses are just flying. So it does still work. So although we want that, I wouldn't worry. It's not going to prevent you from planning. and we're going to offer you the same quality service. So, don't worry too much about that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. And to be honest, I think some of the people that I've met on some of the sessions already, it kind of suits them sometimes as well. It's not about traveling in and having to get ready, Ali, putting clothes on and that, and doing your hair and that, and yeah. So I think we might draw this to a close if there's not any questions. I think that it's not so much a conversational piece. This is more like it was a bit of education for you, a little bit of like a heads up. This is what things are going to look like. And just let that sit and digest. And please feel free to reach out and just offer some kind of comments about what you would like the service to look like. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you liked it. It was live. It was pretty good. Thanks for the comments. I think that was a lot better than watching something, on catch up. But if you are, thank you very much.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Ali, anything to leave us with before we go?
No, just really looking forward to seeing everyone. Excited to get going and can't wait. It's great.
Perfect. Good stuff. Thanks for that. And we look forward to seeing you all soon.